Yes, we are live.
Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. There was some game. Punjab just got Tewatiad again. I can't believe it. It's one of those rare moments in IPL which will stay forever. And Punjab Kings would never want to see Rahul Tewatia's face ever again. Nor would KL Rahul as well. He just loves playing against a team which has KL Rahul and also against a West Indian bowler for sure. So
Yep.
next time Rahul Tewatia comes on to bat, I'm sure Punjab will make sure no West Indian bowlers ball to him. I have Nikhil and Sandipani to join me. Nikhil, getting to you straight up. Give me your initial thoughts on that thriller.
Crazy game. I mean, Rahul is just again. Once Rahul, always Rahul. Always get overshadowed when there is a Rahul around. So
Yeah.
first is initial thoughts were sublime, not from Gill to begin with. I mean, he was the one who kept them in the game because nobody else looked, going like yes, Sai did play a few very good shots and that's good for him.
Right.
But you could feel that the game was going away, slipping away from them. And Hardik came in, Rabada bowled a good over, Chahar did his job again and somehow it came down to that last over. And it's crazy. I think there is a lot that has happened in the game. If you put in the first innings, Punjab went hell for leather from ball one. While I do agree with the intent bit, I just feel they need to be more match aware, not for the over of Darshan Nalkande, but for Rashid
Not
Khan.
on there.
Uh,
Right.
you know, Shahrukh had to be there. Just watch out, Rashid, and then go after the bowling. I think of course, you can't say had they had 10 more runs, they would have won because they should have closed this game out if not
Right.
for that overthrow. But
Yeah.
yes, overall, a crazy game. Lots to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Sandipani, coming to you now, your initial thoughts, because, for me, I personally felt after he hit that first six, yeah, there is something coming, and there is something coming. And it did come. And what were your reactions, and what did you make out of the last over?
Yeah, these lower order like all rounders are like clearing it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, like the last day we saw Pat Cummins do it. Today it was
Yes.
Rahul Tewatia, and he has already proved himself against Punjab Kings. I think next time Punjab Kings shouldn't like bowl a West Indian against him.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I mean,
Other
I
than
feel,
that, I think Punjab Kings really pulled it back. At one
Yeah.
stage when Gill and Sudarshan were going strong, it sort of looked like they would like get the job done within the 17th or 18th over. But
absolutely.
kudos to Arshdeep Singh, like the two overs that he bowled in between, putting like piling up the pressure, and then I think Bairstow could have had that stumping of Gill,
Yeah.
and maybe Rabada would have taken that catch of Hardik, and things would have been different. But you never know.
It's just a lot of maze because
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
Punjab
it's
epic,
just
but we're
a
talking about
In
maze.
hindsight, this game could have been a different one.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So let's
But
let's
again,
let's
once
talk.
again on the Punjab Kings approach, also I just wanted to add that if Punjab Kings have been known for going hard throughout this tournament, like they went hard against KKR too. So
Hmm.
on the hindsight, I think Gujarat Titans would like could have employed their strike bowlers at the start, like in the middle overs. They were going with the part timers in the middle overs, saving the best three for the last. Like the overs of Loki Ferguson, Mohammad Shami, and Rashid Khan, they were saving it for the last. I think they could have employed them a bit earlier instead of keeping them right till the end.
Right. Nikhil, coming to you now, he rightly spoke about the Punjab's approach. If not for the last partnership between Arshdeep Singh and Rahul Chahar, this could have been well a 165 chase or a 170 chase for
Yeah.
Gujarat Titans. Only because of that lower order hitting from them, this went on to 189. And it just showed there was a lot of due as well towards the end.
Yeah.
Do you reckon this is now the correct approach? Because they were 156 for 8. From there on, it was whatever runs came was gold dust for them, isn't it?
So, if you want to say it's the approach that brought them back in the game, but it was the approach that could have actually cost them the game. So, it is something that we can say only in hindsight. To be very honest, that uh, you know uh, how do you have that right approach? I think the approach was fine in terms of that's how we will see teams batting first bat. But it is just about being that much more game aware in terms of like we discussed. Shahrukh had to see of Rashid. There was nobody else that he could have been troubled with had he seen of that over from Rashid. And see, Arshdeep and Rahul scoring, it's not going to happen every day. So yes, they were lucky that they got those 20 runs, but it's a very tricky slope to climb because you never know how, if you end up losing. So it's a call that you take at the start, that
Right.
either I'll get 180 all out in the 16 overs, or I'll bat 20 overs and I get 240, 230. So I think that balance they'll find that balance going down. But I don't think this game they lost with the bat, especially having got into a stage where the required rate was 70. So
Right.
if you lose it from there, then there is something to work with. And the obvious flaw of having audience with both the last over, it caused them.
Yes, absolutely. Sandipani, coming to you now. We saw the start which Punjab got. Do you reckon that Mayank Agarwal, it's high time for him to come into the runs because he just looks little in pressure doing the captaincy and also taking the batting responsibility? You know that this guy's an aggressor. Last couple of seasons, we have seen the best of Mayank Agarwal come into the fore, scoring runs, especially from 2020 season. Before that, we knew him for those good 15 runs, good 20 runs where he looks really good and he gets out. Do you reckon he's going back to that phase again? Or should he just be like, I'll just break the shackles and just want to be the Mayank Agarwal, what I'm known to play in the IPL?
No, definitely he has to come good. He is the captain of the side, but I don't think there is something wrong with his approach. Like Dhawan is the one who is going to play the long innings, and Mayank's approach will be the same. He'll go for it right from the first ball.
Yeah.
Speaking about match awareness, I think Liam Livingston, Shah Rukh Khan, they go after every bowler. Like against KKR, they went after Umesh Yadav when he came for that over. Against
Yeah.
CSK, when they were coming, and the tailenders for Punjab have been contributing like dearly in the last three games. They did it
Right.
against KKR. Rabada played that in like swift cameo. They did it against CSK. Again, Rahul Chahar and Rabada played a good knock. And today again, Arshdeep and Rahul Chahar did it. So I don't think this is the right approach. Like going at it so hard that you lose all your main batsmen by the 15th or 16th over.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they can just yeah. And Mayank needs to come good. It's been four games. Same, like even Rituraj will be feeling the pressure.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, two batsmen who are on the fringes of getting an Indian white ball call up, especially to make it to the starting 11 if an opener gets injured. I haven't got the best of start to the IPL. Nikhil, coming to you now,
Yeah.
almost in the similar lanes. Now, let's talk about Punjab's bowling, right? What could they have possibly done better? Because if you talk about 37 runs of 18 balls, any good bowling side will be able to close it. Or you can say you had a set batsman like Shubman Gill, you had a Hardik Pandya, but then you have a Rabada to ball, you have a Harshdeep who gave a terrific over. But you reckon that they just went somewhere or the other to just give Rahul Chair that over 16th over? They just kept Rahul Chair a little more later, or were they a little skeptical to use him against Sai Sudarshan?
So again, see, it was because they used them that they got the shot of Sai. Otherwise, I don't think would have taken that risk or gone after him. So I don't think there was much wrong in terms of when they could have bowled which bowler. But my only point is, we've seen this far too often now that your last over cannot be bowled by a lesser skilled bowler. I mean, we've seen that with Mumbai, with Sams. We've seen that with Chennai as well. Your inexperienced guys cannot be the ones who are bowling those tougher overs, even if they have 20, 24 to defend, because they're not used to that pressure. They're not used to bowling
Nikhil,
in
I
those
have
scenarios.
a question
Yeah,
to add on to this. But on a
yeah.
good day, if it works, you'll of course compliment the captain saying that, oh, Rabada balled the 17th over and he picked up 2 wickets there. And you would say, call it an aggressive move. But on a day, if it doesn't work, you will actually blame the captain for not giving that baller the last over as well. So it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, so I am not discrediting the captain here. As you said, it's about using those resources. So I said they did what they had to do. They didn't have any other option other than that. So they went with the aggressive option. They went for the strike bowlers first and then kept the weaker bowler for the end. So it's a question on the construction of the side and not on who to use when. Like today they dropped Banuka Rajapaksha for Odin Smith. To be
Right.
very honest, what Odin Smith offers with the bat, Banupa can do much better than that. And what
Absolutely.
Orion Smith is offering with the ball, you have Ishan Porel, Sandeep Sharma, anybody who can do that much better with the ball. So
Right. Right.
I just feel there is a lot of room to play Rishi Dhawan.
Right. Yeah.
He's been in form. He's been taking wickets in the domestic circuit as well. I'm not
Right.
saying bowl in the last over, but
Mm.
just having him as an option will ensure that you could potentially use somebody else in the middle overs and then get your best bowlers only bowl in the last five. So the need, as you like we saw with Lucknow, once Holder is back at the end of the last five, they have options. They could potentially not bowl one of their strike bowlers out. So that is something. That's a position you want to be in. have that
Right.
option. If you don't have that option, you can't do much.
Absolutely. Now coming to you, because I have a question similar lanes as well now on to Sandipani. Do you reckon they should go back to Rajapaksha because he offers the left-hand batsman option as well in the middle? Because if you look at Punjab's top five, except Shikhar Dhawan, they do not have a left-hand batting option to actually counter probably a left-arm spinner or a leg spinner. That you saw even today when Rashid Khan came, they were a little ruffled for sure. And Bhanuka Rajapaksa is someone who has taken down the leg spinners. He has taken down the left arm spinners as well. If you look at that RCB game, he did pretty well in the KKR game as well. He has a momentum going with him. He's a player in form. You have Liam Livingston, who's so well off batting at number 5. You can possibly change the batting order there, bring in Bhanuka Rajapaksa at 4. And as he mentioned, Rishi Dhawan, Sandeep Sharma, anybody into that bowling attack as well.
Yeah, I think for the next game after this one, Odin Smith will be
Yeah.
dropped. Bhanuka Rajapaksha will come in for him, and I think that wicketkeeper, the Indian wicketkeeper, he just
Injured.
got like
Injured,
got
yeah.
injured. So I think Bhanuka Rajapaksha will come instead of him, and instead of Odin Smith, will get an Indian, either Rishi Dhawan, or I think they will go with Sandeep Sharma, because he did nothing wrong in the first game, and
Yeah.
as Mayank also said in the second game that Sandy did nothing wrong, but we had to drop him. Uh, so yeah, I think that will come into place. Other than that, I think Odin Smith, Punjab did not have any option. I mean, it was either Odin Smith or Liam Livingston. You can't go into the final over thinking Liam Livingston has to ball it if Odin Smith is not like the best option here. So yeah, I think they have to work on the fifth bowling option. Not just have an extra bowling option. I think with Rishi Dhawan or Sandeep Sharma coming in, the bowling core will be stronger.
Yeah.
We're blaming Odean Smith right now, but then you just look back into that moment of that overthrow there. 13 runs required of 3 balls. He got the ball in hand. It well could have been a dot ball. Miller facing 2 balls. You never know. Even if it at the worst, it would have been a super over. It couldn't have got worse than this.
Yeah.
So you reckon there is when you need experience, presence of mind, and a Rishi Dhawan or someone of an experienced presence of mind could have possibly done it even better.
I think it was just the rush of he was just excited. He just threw it in excitement. Otherwise, you won't do that. It's
Right.
simple calculations, but when you're playing at that level, you never you are so into the game, you sometimes happens. So I won't go hard on Odin Smith. I mean, I don't expect much of from the ball for Odin Smith, because he hasn't been that effective in any of the games with the ball. He was effective with the bat in the first game. Other than that, I don't think he has made much contributions. And like Sheldon Cottrell was dropped right after Tewatia hit him for 5 sixes, Odin Smith is going to get dropped in the next game for sure.
Yeah,
We
I
have a
just want to
counter
add
attack
to
as well.
that point, about using audience mate. So I also did put out this tweet that it is about being ready for that chance.
Right.
Audience mate got that chance today. He made use of it against Bangalore in the first game, and
Right.
today it was a turn of Rahul. That on that overthrow, imagine Rahul Tavate having gloves in his hands, not being ready for a run. It just tells you that how much ready you have to be for a chance in life, that you don't know what will happen. But if you don't take it, it will never happen. So it's a very good life lesson for all of us, that be ready to take that chance. You never know how it will turn out to be.
Right. Ranjit Kumar, just answering your question. We actually give our fantasy tips out on YouTube and Instagram. You can follow us there. And of course, we'll also get inputs coming in from Nikhil in the coming days. So that's where you're going to have a lot more fun with the fantasy. We'll get to that point. We'll get to that point. That's the interesting part of the day. Nikhil, coming to you on the Gujarat Titans, 3 out of 3. A team which may did not give a chance at the start of the IPL, looking at their balance. Now you're looking at this team, you have a Sai Sudarshan making debut, Abhinav Manohar in the team, Darshan Nalakande, and all of a sudden this team is still unbeaten in the tournament. What do you reckon has this team done well so far in the tournament? Is it the coaching staff, or is it Hardik Pandya's captaincy, or is it that everybody's clicking at the right moment?
I think it's one of those things about being aware of the road and finding new heroes. So it was Shami in the first game, he shut it up, and then you had a different game where, say, the game against Delhi, where it was Rocky Ferguson who did it. Shubman Gill, of course, did well. Hardik Pandya. There are going to be a few regular performers, but there is going to be that knockout punch that is going to come from somebody. So that is happening for Gujarat, and that is a good thing about a side, that if you're a new franchise, you just don't want to be relying on 2 to 3 players only. You want a new hero to come in every game, throw that punch, and find ways to win. And in all three games, they have been tested, but they have found ways to win. And I think that's a very good sign. Yes, they do have problems with the bat because of their batting order, but if Sai comes off like it did yesterday, I think there is still enough room to drop weight, get somebody like a Gurbaz in. He's been
Right.
in form. Use him
Right.
up top. You could be in a much better position to handle that batting order because I mean, today you saw Miller. If had they got come in a bit more earlier, they could have possibly finished it an over early, given where the
True.
game was when
True.
Gill was going good. So it's a good sign for Gujarat. But again, I don't think they can be taking it lightly because they nearly got it wrong today. So
Right.
good win for them, but it keeps them on the toes.
Right now, coming to the point where Sai Sudarshan, he played a good knock rate, 33 of 29. But if this match wouldn't have gone in Gujarat's favor, of course, people would have questioned that knock as well because he got up to, he played some really good shots, but still, he didn't look like he was timing the ball well and he was stuck in a hole in between, isn't it, Sandipani?
Yeah, I think it's about the intent. I feel like he was they had a particular game plan in mind, Gill and Sudarshan, and they were going about it almost like near perfect in a near perfect manner because only 62 was required of the last 6 overs. And before that, also in the middle overs, Gill and Sudarshan, they were just trying to hit one boundary of the over and then they were fine, knocking it for singles and doubles. And Gill, the way he timed, like the way he was timing the ball, the noise and the sound that it was making, it was just so like wonderful. Uh, Coming back to your question, I think Sai Sudarshan's knock was a calculated one. The moment they needed him to accelerate, he went for it, and it did not come off. But it was a good knock.
Absolutely.
It was a perfect knock going about the match situation because they had enough hitters at the back end so that he could like first settle in and then go for his shots because Gill was going
Nikhil,
superbly at the other end.
absolutely. Nikhil, coming to you now, Hardik Pandya, it's always a positive sign for India whenever Hardik Pandya balls and whenever he's taking
Yeah,
the response. He could have possibly finished this match off as well. You never know
yeah.
if it was on the other side of the spectrum. But how impressed are you and how close is he of getting the India call up now? I know it's a far sighted question and in
Yeah.
hindsight, anything can happen. But then tell me your thoughts on that.
Honestly, it's just too early. Just 3 games into the season. It's a long, long tournament now with 14 games, so much games coming back to back. So remains to be seen how fit he is. Because he's bowling 4 overs, he's batting at 4. So there are a lot of things that could go wrong here for Gujarat, and I hope that they don't. But for Hardik's sake, it's very important for him to remain fit. He's the captain. He has to obviously last the entire tournament. So it's a good thing. Very positive signs. If he can continue that, nothing like it.
And an added question to that. Do you reckon this is the best bowling unit of the IPL so far? Just considering that variety they've got a lot of options. They've got Rashid Khan, they've got Shami, they've got Loki, who could bowl at different phases of the game. And this could possibly be one of the best bowling attacks of the IPL. Let's just bar Arshdeep and Rahul Chernock and the position they got Punjab into, and also last matches and the matches before that as well. They've been a potent bowling attack, isn't it, Nikhil?
One of the best for sure. I think Lucknow take the cake for me,
Okay.
purely because in terms of the options that they have, in terms of express pace, leg spin, and see, yes, Hardik is bowling, but he's bowling now. He's not been bowling for a while, and that while has been a long, long time. So it's as I said, it's a very good start. Of course, same goes for Lucknow, but I just feel Lucknow have more options with the ball. That if something goes wrong, Lucknow had far more options. We saw what happened to Rahul Tewatia today with the ball. Maybe that is what prompted him to go out ballistic with the bat. But that's the problem that Gujarat have. That they're still a better bowling side as compared to a batting side. But I do feel Lucknow and even RCB, if they get their lineup right, I think RCB have a very good bowling attack, well-rounded attack in terms of options that they have. There is a Siraj, there's a Hasaranga, there's a Harshal Patel. So varied kind of bowlers. So yeah, let's see how this shapes up going deep in the tournament.
Absolutely. Now let's just get into that segment of the day where let's know who had the lemonade kind of a day and a
Yeah.
wavy day at the office. It is the
Yes.
fantasy segment of the day. Who are the top five fantasy getters from players? At number one, you have Shubman Gill, who had a terrific game with the bat. You have Rashid Khan at number two. You have Liam Livingston, Hardik Pandya, and Khalkisor Abada. Thankfully, I had all 5 in my team. Let me just put that on record straight up. So for me, it was a lemonade
Nice.
kind of a day for sure. Now coming to you both,
Cheers.
starting off with you, Sandipani. How did your day go?
I think it was a lemonade kind of a day for Boomer 11 because I had four of them in my top five picks for the game. And
Yeah,
also, Rashid Khan was my captain in this one, and vice captain was Shubman Gill because Rashid
Nice.
Khan had an average of just
Yeah.
12 against Punjab Kings before this game, and Shubman Gill had a batting average of 56
Against Punjab.
against Punjab Kings before this game. So definitely had a limited kind of a day. Also, closely missing the top five was Rahul Chahar. I feel
Yeah.
he just missed the list for a couple of points. Otherwise, Boomer 11 would have had 5 out of 5
for the first
in
time.
our
Nice.
picks. Yeah, for the first time.
And Ranjit Kumar, just coming to your question again, we put a video out every day before the match. You can follow us on Instagram. We have a statsman Sandipani putting his inside. As he just mentioned, his 4 out of the 5 picks today was on point. I am there to come and put the video out. Boomer 11 sends a video out. And now coming to that, Nikhil, how was your day? Was it a wavy day or a lemonade kind of a day?
I don't have a lemonade, but I have a bottle of chilled water. So yeah, it was a very good day. All 5 in. Uh,
Oh,
very. I think again this is one of those tricky games where Livingston could have easily been caught early, and the game could have been so different from the fantasy angle. But such is life. You can't count your eggs before they hatch. So, but thankfully it didn't cost me much because he wasn't my captain. My captain was Hardik, and vice captain was Rashid Khan. So still a good day. Didn't go with Gill purely because of different bowling attack and far more potent as well. So, but yeah, overall very good day.
I'll ask a question on that, Nikhil. Now you have Liam Livingston, who is probably one of the most volatile asset to have in your fantasy 11. Can you make
Yeah.
him a captain or vice captain going ahead in the tournament, considering these two performances?
See, to me, all-rounders are always first priority because of the options that they give you with both bat and ball. And then somebody like a Livingston also fills in the hotspots. By the end of the day, there will be at least 2 to 3 catches that will definitely go to him. And so you still get 24 odd points from him, and if he's a captain 44, that's a lot for a fantasy from a fantasy perspective. Because with a captain, you're not always with a batter as a captain. It's not always. I don't prefer to make batsman captain because I feel it's way too risky. Which is of course didn't make Shubman captain, but he's a tricky guy. But see, there will be bad days. Like Jason Holder always takes wickets in the first inning, but yesterday it didn't happen. So it doesn't mean that your logic is wrong. It's just that the game didn't pan out that way, which is fine. So when you make Livingston captain, you have to be very sure that did he do what he was expected to do? If yes, then it's okay. It doesn't matter how many points he got, as long as he was doing the right thing. So that is how I think about it, and it makes it a bit more easier for me.
Ranjit, just coming to your question again. Link is in the bio for the Instagram page, and also we'll put it up on YouTube as well. You can check the shorts videos. Now, Nikhil, coming to you, how do you have such lemonade kind of a day in fantasy cricket? Because most of the fantasy players want to know that how do I ace more days than not to have bad days? Because of course you'll have off days, but how to have
Yeah.
more good days than bad days? And I'll hand over to you to talk about the course you're taking on fantasy cricket and fantasy sports.
Yeah, so thanks for that. And so it's a course with Madabot Sports on how to be in profit, where I've tried to share whatever are the tricks that have worked for me over the last 8 years that I've played fantasy cricket for, and I've been in good profit, thankfully, touch wood. And the point is to be having a process for yourself, and then you back it. So what is that process? That process is selecting the right game, selecting the right platform, selecting the right kind of data to back. And now, as Sandipani said, you have the numbers. Rashid Khan had that having that average, Shubman Gill having that average. So it's about doing this homework, being ready for a game, and not just investing randomly that okay, there are 10 minutes left. I know 5 players. Let's play this game. It's not how you are going to be in profit. Yes, someday you might win a big amount from that as well, but then it depends on the talent. Now I am not that talented to make a random team and win. I have to work hard because I feel no money is easy for me. So it comes with hard work, with process, and I feel in fantasy, if you love the game, you should be playing fantasy cricket, but play very responsibly. Use this the data that I've shared, the processes, the tips and tricks to win grand leagues, private contests, so that you can be in this for a long run, and you can just enjoy the cricket that much better. So yeah, So already a lot of people have benefited, and the journey has got better for them. So hopefully more people enroll and they also benefit.
Absolutely. Having said that, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. I know it was an exciting game. Your adrenaline might have been all
Yeah,
rushing today. And yeah, I hope you all have lemonade kind of a days in coming future as well. So, having said that, this IPL, if you do not want to involve any financial risk, one platform you can head into, that's Boomer 11. We have free to play fantasy contest, and you can win prizes worth up to $5,000 this IPL. So, don't miss out on these chances. And if you want fantasy tips, as one of our viewers asked, and if you want more memes, more sporting updates, follow our Instagram page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be having Sandipani, Nikhil, Jones, and more of the people coming in through the course of IPL. We're not even halfway into the IPL. We have had some really
yeah,
good days already. So, having
yes.
said that, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. Stay tuned for more, and I hope you all enjoyed the game.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you, Fahad.
definitely. Thank you
God
for
bless
having
you.
us.